So number one, no, you shouldn't be replacing your content marketers. But can you replace content writers? This may sound harsh, but unless the writer is genuinely involved in the product, yes.
So, hey everyone, welcome back to the Startup Podcast, where we go behind the scenes with the founders, marketeers, and builders shaping the future of the go to market strategy in SaaS. I'm your host, Komal Ranganwala, and today we're diving deep into one of the most powerful yet misunderstood growth catalysts out there: content. Joining me today is someone who has practically built her career around helping SaaS companies use content not just to get traffic, but to drive real pipeline. She's the founder of Contensify, a B2B SaaS content marketing agency trusted by growth stage startups and global SaaS leaders alike. Vanhishikha Bhargava. Vanhishika, welcome to the show.
Oh, well,
So good to have you here. How are you doing today?
thank you so much.
How do you feel?
Thank you so much. I feel much better. And I feel better finally being able to do this because the delays were on my end. And Komal has been very nice enough to keep rescheduling thanks to my health. But I'm finally glad I can have the chat with you.
That's completely all right. I mean, it's as old as it gets, like health is wealth. Yep.
Totally, totally.
So let's start from the start. So
Mhm.
you've built one of the most respected content-driven agencies in the SaaS space. And when I talked with you for the first time, I could tell immediately that it's not going to be one of those conversations where you just speak about how to write content, but it's like yet you know what's working out and what's not working out. And it's not one size fits all kind of content either. So, what was the spark behind Contensify?
Okay, so this means we're going back almost 13 years now. So I had wrapped up my engineering, right? And I don't know if there, I'm sure there are a lot of engineers listening to this, right? So, you know, how when we build products or when we talk about technology, half of it we understand, half of it we don't really understand. And then, you're creating a research document or you're creating a product document. Everything was actually content. So when I completed my engineering, I had 3 months to spare before my joining, right, where I was placed. And then I was like, what do I do then? LinkedIn had just launched.
Mhm.
Okay. So I decided I'm going to make a completely, you know, a random post about my fourth year project on LinkedIn. And I just simplified what I built, basically, right? And it got picked up by the right kind of folks at that point in time, right? It was a startup which was incubated in Ogilvy and Mather, Singapore.
Mhm.
And they asked me to then, kind of, hey, can you extend that and show us how would you, kind of, push for an analytics product instead of the project? Yeah, that's easy. Language. My mom's an English teacher, so it was pretty okay. Wrote 250 words, and then he said, you know what, convert it into a longer format. Sure, okay, 1,200 words. And then then I was like, you know what? I kind of enjoy these. I got access to the product, right, to experiment and see what to write about, and then write about it the way I wanted to, and not that very corporate kind of language. I got to, kind of bring in the slangs that I could use on a daily basis, like how I would talk to somebody when I'm explaining them the product. And I think that was the point where I decided that I want to give this a shot for 6 months and see if this is legit a career, right? So back then, this was what? Digital marketing in general,
Right.
right? And now it's content marketing. So I took my background in tech and language because I was like, I want to do something which combines both,
Mhm.
right? So worked for startups, B2B SaaS startups for 2 years before I launched Contensify. Reason for launching this twofold. One, I was thoroughly enjoying it,
Mhm.
right? Because it was giving me the best of both worlds, tech and non-tech. And second, ADHD.
Mhm.
And that's where it started to grow, right? So today it's like 11 years in business. That's where it began, really. So I feel that ADHD got tackled primarily because routines, very set, repeatable routines.
So is it safe to say that because of your routines, you are able to stay consistent? Like, is that
Absolutely.
right? Yeah.
Absolutely. It is a pain for other people. I will admit, I think less for work people, more for your personal life people, because I don't make an exception for them either. It's like if I have a call on Monday and Tuesday, I'm
Mm.
sorry, I am not doing X.
Mm.
Right. And that applies to everything. So it's a little crazy, but then I think that's what entrepreneurship is like tipping towards part crazy, part logical.
Yeah, absolutely. And at one point you do have to learn where to say no and when to say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is
Yeah.
something I've been told by my mentor that, you gotta learn to say no, even though I'm not a yes person, but saying no is important. And what I love is honestly, most agencies talk about content as just a checklist. And
Mhm.
whether when I'm talking with you, you are talking about it as if its content itself is like a strategic partner. So,
Mhm.
was that the plan from day one or something that you evolved?
No, that was day one. Partly because I got the right mentor, partly
Mm-hmm.
because I got the right start. So I knew what marketing was, and I did not enter marketing when uh, the internet turned it into just publishing more content.
Yeah.
It's not that, right? And that's why most content strategies fall flat, whether you're doing videos, you're doing blogs, you're doing web pages, you're doing thousands of LinkedIn posts.
Mm.
Half the people have a complaint of how content is not working. That is because you never used your brain to fit it into your business processes, right?
Mm. Mm.
You always said that let's just start publishing. And then everybody's just writing, 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 writing.
Yeah.
And if you just go and ask them that, hey, okay, so you created 10 blogs on this topic, how does it tie to your product?
Mm.
And the answer is traffic. So
Mm.
that's almost like us saying that traffic or the number of views are more important to me versus the conversions.
Mm.
And then once everybody has burnt their marketing budgets by, let's say, 6 months tops, what we I am noticing as a general pattern, they go on and say, "Hey, this tactic does not work."
Mm.
It works. It's just that you never thought of, kind of making it strategic.
Mm.
So when we were taught marketing, it was never about let's be on all the platforms possible, or you know what, let's create 1,000 pieces for that one topic. Right?
Mm.
It was more about can we say the same thing in 5 pieces? And how do those 5 pieces connect with each other? And how does that connection lead to a conversion? It could be a small conversion, could be a bigger conversion, right? So we were always made to think like that. So content is everywhere. Like, come to think of it, social media, that's content. You want to call it social media marketing? Sure. When you're, kind of fetching backlinks, it's a blog written where you get the backlink. It's still content. Web
Mm.
pages, content, emails, content, right? Your LinkedIn founder profiles, founder branding, content. So I kind of at this point, I've realized that a lot of narrative that got built over the last, I think, 3, 4 years primarily, it
Mhm.
was just about publishing,
Mm.
right? How companies need to turn themselves into media brands.
Mm.
The one logic that they probably should have added back then, and we have been kind of pushing, that's why we take up limited number of companies only, people who can see long term versus short term wins, right? So we always tell them, sure, be a media company, but for who and what?
Mhm.
Like I can be writing a lot of pieces around, let's assume a CRM, right? I can write thousands of pieces, but okay, I want to be a media site for the topic of a CRM. CRM for who? Right? Am I addressing e-commerce? Am I addressing individuals? Am I addressing an enterprise company? But then it got dropped. Like for whom and for what?
Mm.
Nowhere in the mix. Right?
Mm.
Everybody just picked up CRM and went right ahead with it. Right. And this is one of the reasons why everybody, I think we do so many audits per month. I can't tell you. It's good. We get paid, sure. But at the same time, it's also a pain, right? To
Right.
constantly repeat ourselves and tell people that you wrote 150 blogs with no documented strategy.
Yeah. Exactly.
150? Now, here's what happens. When you just think of AI as, this is going to be fast to write, right? As compared to humans.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that you were thinking. right? You
mm,
were never thinking that, okay, those 10 additional pieces, can we say something unique? Can we say something new that the 10 human written versus 10 this, right?
mm,
Or if you're doing all 20
mm,
through AI,
mm.
then how are we making it unique? Because in the end, everybody is going to be doing the same thing. So
Yeah.
this client went from being very strategic about content
Mm,
to absolute madness. And then came their performance marketing team and their sales team. And I will love them for that because the performance marketing team came and said, our CAC has increased.
mm.
Well, obviously, because you're driving in such random traffic now that does not speak to who or
Exactly.
what and
Yeah.
why, it's gone. And
It's
then
all
came the
about
second
volume.
complaint. Precisely. It became so much about volume. So now this year with the same client has been a lot about cleaning up.
Mm,
It has been about, do we really need this? Can we merge this? Can we delete this because it's not making sense? Can we infuse human input because you're an expert at the product that you've built? Can we
mm,
bring in those inputs into this content so that it does not feel too generic?
mm.
So now we are spending time doing that. So we're having a lot of fun because the strategy went from like here to here to here. And then now it's again stabilizing. So it's
Yeah.
absolutely crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Makes complete sense. And be it, content on the website or web page, or even code. I mean, we've been coding for years, and there are times when we have to really pick and choose what exactly we have to accept that is generated by AI. We always have to review. Otherwise, you spend a lot more time on cleaning up code than actually, analyzing it and writing your algos. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I'm glad you brought that up. Just on Saturday last week, I
Mhm.
was having a talk with my web developer, and we were meant to do a tech audit for a site which is recently migrated from WordPress to Webflow. Okay.
Mm,
So the team basically used AI automation and lots of YouTube tutorials to migrate the site. Okay. Now, before we bring in any kind of a client, we obviously do a quick audit to say where have they goofed up, what part of it have they done. My developer quite literally looked at it and said, "This looks like a half-assed job.
mm,
This looks like somebody watched three YouTube tutorials and decided to do it and then reach out to us because they got stuck at a certain point. We will not do it until they give us a staging link and I can audit their code."
mm.
Says, "I refuse to do it," was the exact statement. And I realized that that is so important because tomorrow, when the project starts, he's going to spend so much time cleaning up the previous things that you did.
Yeah. And you know what? Let's talk a bit about what's happening in SaaS content right now. Like every founder is
Mhm,
saying that we are investing in content, but a few
mhm,
can really connect it to their pipeline or even
mhm,
their own product,
mhm,
because
mhm,
it's like, what you see or the messaging on their webpage is really different from what the actual product is or what it does. So where do you
mhm.
think the gap lies? Is it just to, like, make it sound really fancy, go with the trend, or it's like lack of focus? What do you think?
uh, Multiple issues, I would say. Number one, not knowing what to say. Like, okay, sure, I can position myself as a content marketing expert, or I can call myself an SEO expert. But care to explain how would SEO work without content, or how is your content getting pushed out without knowing which keywords really matter? They're integrated. So the one thing that I have always spoken about all these years is integrated content marketing and SEO. There is no such thing as separate functions. You can have two people for it, sure, because it's a lot of scope. But at the same time, they're meant to work hand in hand, not in silos, right? So that became my unique content tilt or a perspective in this industry. Similarly, with products, right, we tend to be like, I think there was a whole phase of we are AI powered. Then we became ML,
Yeah.
right? It was not even AI, it was ML because you wanted to sound fancy by saying machine learning. Then
Mm-hmm.
there was NBL, then so on and so forth. NLP.
Mm,
But then the point is that you're going after trends. You
mm,
are not going after what you actually stand for. Sure, you can mention that you're AI part. Sure, you can mention other aspects. But at the same time, what is your core message?
mm,
I think that is the up top problem, which is positioning,
mm,
right? I am not saying go for a, which people are, by the way. They go for fancy branding in terms of a logo, in terms of the colors, in terms of the website. But when you read their website, you're left absolutely clueless. I had a call right before this recording, right?
Mhm.
And that's the number one feedback I gave him. He told me that, hey, we have so many services, we are doing so many things, paid, organic, we're not getting traffic. I said, that's because if I myself, kind of go through your homepage, I don't know who you're talking to.
Hmm.
I don't know what you're trying to say, right? And I really could not figure out what is the offering, right? So it was all lost in a lot
Yeah.
of volume of content. So I feel positioning, number one, that's gone.
Hmm.
Second problem is that everybody is treating content as a deliverable,
Hmm.
right? This is basically treating content as a deliverable, wherein you work with an agency, you work with an in-house partner or whoever, right? And you say, we just need bofu pieces. What you're doing essentially setting yourself up for absolute failure because there's nothing outside that leads to the bofu piece apart from your ads and sales.
Hmm.
And then you attribute success to ads and sales,
Hmm.
right? So that content is also lost. So I feel
Yeah.
that number one, positioning, two, not understanding the funnel and how content is meant to create journeys, and three, stakeholders believing that you could have the most experienced CMO in there. I
Hmm.
agree. But unless that CMO has sat down with you, had a complete brain dump session, I cannot practically get inside a founder's head, right? A stakeholder's head. So their opinion,
Hmm.
right? One, not being documented, two, not being shared, is
Hmm.
the bigger problem in SaaS primarily.
Hmm.
You built a product because of some logic, even if it was because you had a lot of time at hand and a lot of money to launch a product, sure.
Yeah.
But you must have thought about that specific idea for some reason, right?
Hmm.
Even if it's this small, jot it down. Your strategy is supposed to build from there. I think these are the key issues that remain. But another one that is for a little more nuanced companies who are probably a little ahead in their content marketing and not just getting started is the disconnect between branding, marketing, sales, support.
Hmm.
No sales head talks to the marketing head. No, support person is talking to the marketing folks. Why?
Hmm.
Right? Why is there a disconnect? And then everybody, when it comes to, kind of mapping your KPIs, will just play the blame game of so and so did not bring in good leads.
Hmm.
Or the support team will say, we do not have the assets to support our customers. Did
Right.
we convey? No. And the underlying reason or the reasoning excuses that people give is that, oh, that'll waste a lot of time. No,
Hmm.
once a month, right?
Right.
Once a month.
So, and it brings me to my next question, again, with the AI slop. Is that from your experience, what differentiates content that drives conversions from content that drives,
Mhm.
just has that creates noise?
A vanity metric. Okay, so I'll tell you just one little thing that we observed personally because we were testing it out across two clients, right? One that actually listens to us because they hired and are paying experts for it. And
Mhm.
the second who thinks that, you know what, let's just do this,
Mm.
right? It's more like deliverable. So both the scopes are different, one where input is welcome, second where the input is not welcome. The first one drove a lot of conversions over the last 4 months. And mind you, not just marketing qualified leads, sales qualified leads. Why? Because when we ask them, what does the product actually do on ground? They hop onto a call, tell us the same. If they can't, they give us the resources, a video, a Loom recording, or
Right.
maybe just, product documentation. When we tell them that, we are writing this piece, it could be something as simple as 10 best alternatives to,
Mm.
right? Do you have some inputs that we can add? They give us those inputs. They talk to us, and the stakeholder talks to us, not just their point of contact. The stakeholder talks to us, right? Now, automatically, even a generic piece like 10 best alternatives to or 10 best email marketing software tools becomes something which is expert driven.
Mm.
We take time to do the research. We use AI to help us cut time for research.
Mm.
And then we go validate it that, okay, have the other products updated something? Then we ask the stakeholder, can you reach out to your sales team and tell us that is so and so facing a problem with X, Y, and Z? Can we mention it? Can we quote it subtly?
Mhm.
That made the difference. Now, in the other case, we have never logged into the product, right? We don't get inputs.
Mm.
And we've asked for the product login, I think, 1,000 times. But here is what was told to us that, you know what, no, you guys are just doing SEO briefs. The internal team is writing the content. That's okay. Just give us the SEO briefs, we'll be fine. No product input. You're not plugging in your own product into that AI generated content. What are
Mhm.
you creating for then? Right? Their own in-house team is not able to plug the product.
That's actually, that
So,
last one is gold. Sorry, go on.
yeah, no, it's so funny because see, you can rely on AI for plugging in your product. Sure, it does. It does a fairly decent job.
Yeah.
But imagine now you're an email marketing software. The article, kind of suits one particular feature the best, which is, let's say, behavioral segmentation, right?
Mm.
AI is not going to do that for you.
Mm.
That's your judgment, right? You
Right.
need to know which side of the product you're plugging in. I feel that is the key difference between people who are using AI for speed, because it honestly does help,
Mm.
right? And people who are like, also driving key business metrics from it. So
Mm.
you will see one section of the audience today driving a lot of traffic. Hey, we have a lot of traffic. We have a lot of impressions. We have a lot of keywords. Okay. And then they start crying about conversions.
Mm.
And then there's a second lot which says, hey, we have decent traffic, decent impressions, but our conversions are good. That's the key difference.
Wow. Yeah, it makes absolute sense. And you know what? Next, I want to talk about Contensify. And
Mhm,
every day now, it has become like old news that with the rise of AI, like who needs a content marketer? Like who needs someone else to write their content? You can just write a prompt and it'll generate
mhm,
everything for you. So tell me a bit about that. Like, what were your thoughts and how did your strategies change? And
mhm.
what else is happening at Contensify? If you have any, if you're working on any campaigns or initiatives.
Okay, so I'll answer the first part first, which is, do you really need a content marketer? Do you even need an SEO expert? Because you can actually tell AI to find your keywords, right? And here is the thing. Prompting is great. I can write an article on best email marketing tools in 5 minutes using AI. Okay. Can I reprompt it to get to a specific direction? Can I reprompt it again to get to a further specific, kind of alternatives list? That still requires a human, right? And where you're plugging in your product and how still requires a human. And there was this term which had come in between and died down pretty quickly, which was prompt engineers, if you remember,
Yep.
right? These are people who could basically just prompt. Okay, you still need a human. Now, you want to call them prompt engineer, you want to call them a content writer who knows how to use AI, or an AI content marketer,
Mhm.
all the same, all the same. Were we not using Google Analytics to track metrics? Were we ever manually mapping it? No, we were using a tool, right? We've been using SEMrush, we've been using Ahrefs for years and years.
Yeah.
Are we manually going and searching?
Mm.
No, right? So number one, no, you shouldn't be replacing your content marketers. But can you replace content writers? This may sound harsh, but unless the writer is genuinely involved in the product, yes.
Mm.
And that is something that we changed in-house too and across our clients as well, where we saw that the writer is just interested in a quick copy paste from the internet to make something out of it.
Right.
Lack of effort, right? Lack of effort. Ask me questions. I will answer them. Ask your client questions. They will answer it when they feel that you're genuinely interested and not just doing a curation of information on the internet.
Mm.
So just pure writers, that I think increased in the last couple of years, and I'm sure you would have also found them while doing hiring, etc. Right?
Mm.
Writers are a lot. Writers who know what they are writing. I'm not saying subject matter expertise. No, that
Mm.
can be built over time. But writers will genuinely work with you as a team to understand the product that they're writing about.
Mm.
Very few,
Mm.
very few. And I can tell you this, that I literally have a list of folks who I would genuinely reach out to. They're just writers, they're not content marketers, who I can literally vouch for despite not having spoken to them, but I've seen their work.
Mm.
It shows in the writing. It
Mm.
shows in the writing. And I think writers, pure writers, I mean, you're going to have to put in a little more effort, right? So, no to the fact that you can do without marketers, right? Yes to the fact you can do without low effort anything,
Yeah.
right? If you're just writing for the heck of it, you can just do it with AI. Don't invest in person for that, right?
By and are you planning on doing any campaigns or initiatives, like anything that we should be looking out for?
There's something called a startup launchpad that we do have. And the reason why we have it is because of the number of conversations that we've had this year around we have been creating content, but it's not working, positioning problem.
Mm.
We have a lot of AI content, but it's not, driving conversions, connection problem. So what we decided was that, instead of us limiting to only the execution parts, right? When we onboard clients, we open our bandwidth to at least 5 to 6 per year companies where they have their in-house team or maybe even a bunch of freelancers that they're working with. We come in as their strategic partners.
Mm.
So we align with them at every single stage to help them complete the next thing, but we don't do the execution for them. Because if I have to be dead honest, my team can only handle so many projects at one time when we are so invested in the product.
Right.
If we were not invested in the product and we were just churning out content, right, honestly could have taken a lot more.
Mm.
Right. So I don't want us to block conversations. So that is something that, we made time for that. Can we, if not execute an entire strategy, can we strategize for some people? And that's been a success. So this entire year we have been experimenting with this model where you use your in-house resources, you want to use AI, great, do it, but we set the guardrails for it and you follow it and
Mm.
be honest about it. So we see the numbers, we map it, we work with stakeholders and let's say head of marketings and kind of pivot their strategy alongside, and that's working out really beautifully.
Time for my favorite part, rapid fire. Say the first thing that comes to your mind. All right. Okay. So, a SaaS brand whose content you absolutely love right now.
Semrush, sorry.
Wow. Okay. One marketing buzzword you wish would disappear forever.
One marketing buzzword that would I have so many.
Pick one that bothers
Ah,
you the
ah,
most.
bothers me the most. Uh, Marketing funnels.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. A book or a podcast that change how you think about marketing.
Um, Definitely Alchemy by Rory,
Mm.
right? I think that was fantastic.
Mhm.
And about marketing, honestly speaking, following HubSpot's journey. So I have to give to you too. Sorry.
Absolutely fine. Okay. So, your favorite underrated SaaS marketing channel.
Reddit.
Hey, I'm glad you said that. That is what I've been pushing my team towards.
Yeah,
AI in
tough to
marketing.
crack, but very good.
Yeah, yeah. So AI in marketing, is it a hype, help, or a headache?
Headache.
Wow, I thought you would say help.
I mean, we all know it helps, but honestly speaking, because of the misuse of it over the last 2 years, it's actually a headache before it can start to help.
Yeah, 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 I get it. So the biggest misconception about content marketing.
Publish more content.
Mm. One thing you'd never outsource in content creation.
The positioning of that you're trying to portray in your content should come from the stakeholder. You cannot outsource your brain. Like, no,
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. A tool that you cannot live without.
I have to. I'm sorry. SEMrush and Slack.
Okay, okay. One piece of advice you'd give your younger self.
Keep focusing on the quality and definitely not chase every damn trend out there because it all runs back to the basics, almost like the fashion industry.
Right, right. A SaaS founder you would love to collaborate with.
I'll be a Webflows founder. I have some, I really need to talk to him about building in some marketing friendly and SEO friendly features into the CMS because that'll help us.
Okay. What's the next big skill that marketeers should learn in 2026?
You're not going to like this answer, but learn how to build pillars and clusters investors. HubSpot did not become an overnight success. You need to know, how to drive in relevant traffic, and marketers and writers both. This is for you,
Hmm.
unless you know what your pillars and clusters are.
Hmm. Very interesting. Okay, now last one. Finish this sentence. Content marketing is,
Literally the lifeblood of your business.
well, well said. Very well said. All right. This was such an energizing conversation, Vanishika. Thank you for bringing clarity and candor to a topic that's often overcomplicated. And sometimes I think with the rise of AI, oversimplified. And I think,
Yeah, it's oversimplified, overcomplicated, more talk, less work. So it's
yes,
overspoken about, underworked on.
yeah, absolutely. And I think every SaaS founder listening will walk away with a new perspective on how content really drives growth. And yeah,
I truly, truly hope so. So thank you for the good questions.
yes, I'm glad. And for everyone listening, go check out Contensify at contensifyhq.com and follow Vanhishikha Bhargava on LinkedIn. You'll find some of the most honest, tactical SaaS content insights there. I'm Komal Ranganwala, and this was the Startup Podcast. See you in the next episode.